right here is that 369 has surpassed Bin, particularly this year. And we could be harsh about Bin, but that's because he was considered one of the best in the world. He wasn't just the best in the LPL. Whoa! Wait!
Yeah, the
Stop.
Zed
Stop
line.
right now! I'm gonna hold on to this. Stop right now.
Look at the smiles on their faces, man. That is absolutely incredible. It is 369. It is night for probably blue side select in game number 1. A Zed mirror matchup. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I have to say, though, I saw Care playing
Okay.
Fiora. And sometimes you have no business dipping your feet into someone else's sea, okay? Care's Fiora did not look good. I don't know how practiced
Why you gotta do that, man?
I don't know how practiced 369 is with Zed, but apparently we're gonna find out because Knight has played this to pretty good success.
What's hilarious is these two guys are known friends, right? Like they have played on the same roster so many times. They know each other so well. I love to see some of that camaraderie. I love to see the double blind lock-in. Absolutely incredible stuff there, and it's going to be a fun one to kick off the 1v1. Obviously, maybe we just get the instant fights, but both guys at least have a plan in mind.
You don't see this very often. Also, in 369 cracked a little bit of a smile right there. He's like, oh,
Knight was
okay.
guffawing.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
laughing. All right, we're into our side select 1v1.
Same
if you're new
skin
here,
as well?
yeah, let's go. See, I'm telling you, they communicate. What if they've been practicing this 1v1?
Damn, okay.
Outside it, that'd be great. Well, friends reunited on the Rift, even if they are on separate teams. 369 and Knight know each other very well from time on Top Esports, from time on JDG. They're showing off some of that camaraderie here together. Dude, this has to be rehearsed. That's too good. This is like synchronized swimming right now.
It might actually be like if you're playing against each other, Zed versus Zed, like even the sounder spells are on the same button. That's how synced they are.
It should be interesting. I do wonder though, who of them gets it better, because obviously Knight should have a little bit more experience on the Zed. We don't know what 369's solo queue efforts are. Maybe he's a Nightmare Zed on the solo queue ladder, you know.
Yeah,
I'm sure
you
there's
would
ways
wish,
for us
no?
to check that. But all right,
Like I
it's
said,
the 2020
that's what we thought
Top
about.
Esports versus 2022 Top Esports. You know?
That's what
I feel like
we thought when we
2022
saw Care
Top
play
Esports
Fiora.
is going to feel better. True. I'm wondering if Knight feels like he's the better of it for the 2022, or if 369 goes for the 2020 to be like an OG.
You know what? I'll take it even further back. Let's have a Ryu versus Faker moment right here. 369 versus Knight. This is the revamped version.
Yes, this is 2025 Ryu versus Faker. However many years later.
Was that 12?
Is it? Yeah, 2013, right?
Think so, yeah.
Something like that. Around there. You know, we'll not use absolute. But you know,
for you.
you're not gonna do the research. All right, fine. All right. Do we still get them here?
2015.
Okay.
It's
So
10 years later.
10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had 2013 in mind.
2013 as well. I'm with you.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I really wish that, you know, they would all in. But we're about to get level 6. So the
That's
death
where the
mark
all-in
is going to
happens.
be available. Maybe they've continued to communicate. They're like, at level 6, we're just going to go all in. Though, I will say, 369 has the 6 advantage right now.
Okay. We've gone for different items. I feel like Knight has gone for more raw damage. Picking the pickaxe right there. As 369 gets a little bit more utility through his item as well. Both with Ignite and
Alright, we
Barrier.
got
Level 6 now hit for Knight. But he's got an entire wave, so I'm expecting to see maybe a little bit of back and forth when the wave is a little bit more neutral for the center.
Wait, what was that Top Esports emote? That was like a Baron with like a hand on top of it with like a little Top Esports flag. That was super cute. I didn't really get to see it that much. Hopefully he uses it again. Anytime Knight uses the alpaca, and he throws it up. Honestly, I'm more important at the more enthused by the emote game right now between these two than I am the.
I mean, there's not much other game, so.
This is where the real mechanics come out. Honestly, that should be like, it should actually win you stuff in the game. You think that's the most controversial change the league will ever make? Like, your emotes actually do things?
Oh, wow.
That'd be nuts.
More things that are already happening on a screen on a 5 versus 5?
We need other ways to pack more into the biscuit can. Oh, the death mark. Can go all in. Knight's got a little bit of a health advantage. He's going to use his own death mark, though. 369 going to get popped, and 369 showing that Knight might have the little bit of a difference in the Zed experience.
Can I say it now? Man, you've
Don't
got no
dip your
business
toes
dipping your feet into someone else's sea, man. Come
Oh,
on.
no. Knight's like, welcome.
Let them be, you
welcome.
know?
Sit down.
Play Zed versus Renekton. I don't know, like, give me Camille, Fiora, or something. I do think this was pretty sided, though. It feels like it was a pretty sided matchup, right? The 1 versus 1. Now, there's a lot of goal difference right here. Eclipse completed for the side of Knight. Not quite there for the side of 369, but now here's the problem, right? Tower is almost dead, down to its last tire plating. So if you take a pretty unfavorable trade right here and you have to reset, 369 is like sitting on a double-edged sword and he's choosing which side. Do you reset and lose your tower, or do you take the 1v1 and lose through
Wait,
that?
the Warden's Mail Eclipse. That's kind of baller. I like it. He's no boots needed. Oh, he's going. He wants the all-in again. He doesn't have the death mark back up. Oh, 369. You know 369 is so cooked. You're so cooked, bro. Get your beach beach apparel. Get out. Oh, he actually got the move with the shadow.
Knight is laughing.
Oh, he's gonna kill him right here. He's gonna kill him. Oh no, he does. He know. Does he?
Oh.
Knight is just not even laughing anymore. He's okay. There we go.
He's like, come on, man. I expected a sport. That wasn't
taking the back of the bush. Get in towards Beichuan.
I'm looking at Rumbles, I'm looking at Gwens, I'm looking at all kinds of top laners that you can be. One IGDD for the Shy with the Rumble. I'm pretty sure BLG can do the same thing here for Bin. Both Gwen and Rumble open. Usually it is a Rumble favored from the teams, but this time around, they're prioritizing their jungler. Okay.
They know. They're knowers. They know that
Okay.
Beichuan has to have something going for him against Kanavi, because if not, Kanavi will run over the entire map. We'll see what the double answer is from the side of Top Esports, though. They have some big picks on the table.
Yeah, you've got the Rumble right here for 369. I think it's a pretty good pick. You take it away from the Pantheon as well. Usually you don't want to have the two paired up together. And Kanavi's classic Xin to go up against the Pantheon, right? Now, what do you pair up that Pantheon with? You've got a couple of choices with Knight. I mean, his traditional choice would have said Ahri right there, but you're kind of picking the Ahri blind. It could even be something like you play around a very, very strong tops of the map, the Gallios, the Gwens, things like this, to try and facilitate around the Pantheon.
Little shout out to Beichuan hovering the vein for Uzi's announcement of the Hall of Legends today. Congratulations to Uzi. I'm so excited. As the Annie, a rampant up-and-comer in the LPL, is going to be locked in for BLG.
Yeah, and let's see what the matchup is going to be from Bin into that Rumble. Again, this is our match, our head-to-head match, rather. Bin versus 369. And tell us all this time, them two, who is the best? Is it Bin or is it 369? 369 has been coming up on top for the majority of 2025. Bin right here is going to pick up the Gwen. And now we're moving into bot lane territory. Top sides completely picked for both teams.
I kind of like some of the answers for both sides. It doesn't feel like either side has fully kind of gotten that big draft just yet. We still need a couple pieces, kind of tie everything together. But the Azir for Creme, going to be a good one. The Gwen, always a threat in the top lane, especially in Bin's hands. But as you said, the Kai'Sa is the first ban from that second phase of Top Esports. See if BLG want to focus a little bit more on Crisp's champ pool to take away some of those roaming supports, or go with that classic Ezreal that has been the most played for both of our ADCs.
Now, one thing that I do see in common with both of those compositions I was about to say is that you're going to get all those AD carries banned away that are a lot aggressive, they have a lot of mobility, because both of these teams have mobility, right? None of these two teams wants to play front to back. Even though you've got an Azir in your team, that team doesn't necessarily want to play a front to back, of course, dependent on the champions that you play towards the bot side. For top esports, I wouldn't mind seeing a Jhin right here. It sets up really nicely for the Azir, for the Rumble ult, for the Xin Zhao. You play more of a facilitating AD carry, and also you don't have a Sion on the other side. Top lane has already been picked. You've got Gwen, so there's nothing that you have to be scared of to not kill.
Jins do hate Sion. You know, let's just say that. But no, great shout out there.
I think most of the carries right now hate Sion.
Honestly, yeah, TBH. But it is going to be the misfortune for a little bit of that lane dominance, a little bit of that early game, mid-game pressure from top esports and from JackeyLove.
I'm not very excited.
I'm a misfortune hater. I'm just gonna say that.
I think Jhin would have fit the bill so much better right here, especially since you're like setting up, right? But again, it's JackeyLove. If he has to pick two champions, it'd probably be Misfortune or Ashe. These are the two that he usually gravitates towards. Big comfort for him. Zyra Rakan locked in on the other side for Elk and On. Very, very safe. Again, BLG does not want to play in any type of formation, so you've got a very, very safe AD carry that can fend on his own, and the rest of the team can play however they please on the team fights.
Yeah, I really appreciate some of the moves we're getting in that 2v2, because even though for focusing that top lane, for focusing jungle as well in this series, bot lane does have a lot of eggs in the basket, typically between these two carries in Elk and JackeyLove. It will be the Alistar to give over to Chris for a lot of that playmaking ability from himself.
Yeah, I see a lot of lane domination in general for the set of top esports. I feel like that's why they gravitated towards the Misfortune and then paired up with the Alistar. We saw it in the previous series as well, how the Alistar Misfortune truly take control of that early game. Once you have that headbutt pulverize combo, you can actually play a lot more aggressive, take chunks away from like either Xayah or Rakan, and then you get to touch tire play things really, really early. So Kanavi right here already has one lane of priority that he knows he can play towards.
Yeah, there's a lot of different lane matchup variety in this one specifically. I love that focus on the top lane as well. I think both of them going to have massive teamfight aspects, but Bin is going to be a menace in that side lane. They're going to have to find a way to answer that. And at the jungle, I mean, this is Kanavi's bread and butter. I talk about that all the time. His Xin Zhao is ruthless, and you're going with the Pantheon, so that can be so bend or break, but still has a ton of teamfight impact, being the one to start things off. It is BLG, it's top esports. It's one of the matchups that have been absolutely premier of the LPL over the last 3 years. And this is the final series for top esports before they go into their rest, until their hibernation, before their playoffs. They have that bye. They're locked into the top 4. But on the other side, BLG, they're not. They're looking for that win. They're looking for that window to get into the top 4, to claim that bye, and a series win puts them over IG, knocks Invictus Gaming down into the playoff play-in. Can BLG topple Titans and take down top esports in this series to claim that destiny? We're getting into game 1 now. It's going to be an absolute banger between top esports and BLG. Let's go. People have forced today, Trouble, as they should be. I can't believe we only have, as Grape said, 5 series left, but 2 days after this of the regular season. It feels like we just started yesterday. Kappa.
I mean, it kind of feels like you, right? The seasons move by so fast because there's more of them. We don't have 2 anymore. We've got 3. So yeah, they typically have to move a little bit faster. However, right here, there's a few deep wards, actually. It's actually so funny. We said about, like, Beichuan keeping up with Kanavi. Kanavi being, you know, the best jungler in the league, undisputed at this point. There's 2 very deep wards to spot Kanavi at any point through his clear. And as we mentioned earlier, because JackeyLove and Chris will have the upper hand in that particular matchup, Kanavi's going to be pathing towards that bot side of the map, as Beichuan's going to evade him towards the top.
Keep an eye, a side eye on that as well. I wanted to go down and break down some of the setups for these teams. I mean, I love that Elk and On are on the Lovers duo down here. They might be playing a little bit more of a back foot. What I really want to see as a combination is Beichuan and Knight at level 6. Really find that wombo combo and set Knight up for success. This Annie pick is giga busted right now, and I want to see them utilize this to success. There's a reason why blue side has been dominant, at least in terms of getting themselves something strong to play with. And now it comes down to execution, and specifically if Beichuan can kind of keep up with Kanavi on his premier Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and what's really strong around Annie as well is that at level 6 you can walk up to targets like Misfortune, like Rumble, and actually force flashes when you do have your stun stacked. So that's very, very important, especially when you're looking for like early game neutral objectives, which BLG really love to fight around. Using Knight's T-Burst to even pressure a lane or taking a summoner spell early on could be very, very useful.
We'll see how those pan out as the offset. Ooh, bolt 2v2 action. You take this Misfortune to have some pressure in the lane, but JackeyLove going to be playing with a little bit less of a health bar after that one. They will still try to keep priority here, and will have Kanavi pathing down their way if he wants to get something going early.
Actually, very nice trades right here from Elk and On. Every single time Elk has been throwing the Q out, he's making sure to keep JackeyLove, so he's slowly but surely just chipping away on that Misfortune HP bar. However, JackeyLove does have another cookie.
JackeyLove just missed like 3 minions right there, but does end up getting engaged on in the end, so he will back away. They did end up burning the heal from Crisp.
Not a huge issue right there. However, usually the team that pushes will end up losing a bit more CS than the team that defends, because they usually tend to focus more on just making sure that you take whatever is coming your way in terms of CS, right? But again, Kanavi is going to find his way to bot lane. Beichuan is right behind him in his quadrant. They are looking for a dive. Beichuan's going to get spotted.
Beichuan will be on his second clear here. There's no way. And he will end up completing his back on vision here. Oh, engage on the Elk. Oh, Kanavi wastes so much time, and Beichuan's already going to be finishing his red side quadrant of his second clear before Kanavi even gets back to base.
I feel like I've been watching that bot lane, and I feel like Esports feel like they're on a timer right here, that if they don't dominate straight up 2-3 minutes into the game, it's not going to be successful. However, you still have a lot of scaling elements in your composition. You've got an Azir, you've got a Rumble. Like, you do actually have pretty good instances of damage, both AP through, though, coming through. But there isn't any significant tank on the side of BLG that can stack MR later on to go up against the Rumble and the Azir, right? So I feel like top esports are playing like they're being chased right now down in the bot lane. And BLG are definitely taking control of that. Like, even in CS down bot lane, they managed to dissuade a potential dive from Kanavi. They stop his reset, delay him a little bit more on the map. So far, so good for BLG.
Yeah, I really like some of the unique setup in pathing that we get to see now, because the grubs aren't spawning at the 6-minute mark. Like Beichuan not backing, going for his second clear the red side and getting the back off. So now he comes back onto the map, can go finish this top side and be active now that we're getting these level 6 marks, especially for Knight. As he looks on the Creme, this is where proactivity starts to be the name of the game for both teams, but looking at BLG specifically at that mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got that level 6 right now. You actually can get to burn through that T-Burst, get a lot more lane priority. Knight's stuck in his passive right there, but has been chunked down just a little bit. Creme did have his back, as on. A little too far forward in that lane. Alright, so here's where the T-Burst is really going to come through, right? You are holding onto the stun on the Annie. You play a little bit more aggressive. Things like Misfortune, that is very immobile usually. If you walk a little bit too far forward, you get hit by T-Burst. Pretty much good night.
Oh. Getting a little dicey in this 2v2. I could feel that both teams want to find an advantage here, but Kanavi will be spotted out. We'll see that he was on a ward. Beichuan is right behind them. Wind does not become lightning, and now Kanavi needs an exit strategy. Gonna flash. Crisp goes in. Knock back 2 on. But Crisp is now in trouble. Crisp might just be ground up into some ground beef, and there you go. First blood goes over to Elk. Knight on the roam. These are the kinds of combinations we really want to see from BLG. And they'll push top esports to the brink on bot side.
Kanavi walks back, doesn't have the flash, the Tibbers.
Oh, he gets the stun, the Tibbers. It's so much damage. Kanavi can't do anything. He dodges the spear, but the stun still follows nonetheless. Beichuan gets the kill there, and now BLG surrounding like sharks onto JackeyLove, but JackeyLove trying to get the outplay. The blade collar is not enough. He does get the one back at least on.
Great dive right here from BLG. The Rogue Knight all the way from mid lane while Creme is resetting. The TP is going to be pulled by 369. Does have the ult. They're going to choose to follow through with it. I'm just a little bit confused with what happened with Top Esports right there. They did spot Beichuan on vision. Crisp was on a completely different page than Kanavi, and then they re-engage while not really. And I feel like the miscoordination right there from Top Esports got heavily punished by BLG.
And you start seeing some of the things that have made this new BLG roster so dominant. A lot of their follow-throughs, a lot of their team play has looked so damn good. That's what was so shocking in that JDG series. Now On makes his debut in mid lane. Crisp will be right beside it.
Trying to take control towards the tops of the map right now. Void grubs in about 8 seconds time. And teams both trying to get any vision in the river. And let's watch this one more time. A lot of spells got traded in this iteration. Kanavi gets spotted in the vision right now. He knows he has been spotted. However, he chooses to follow through with the gun. He's going to miss the W, and then he has to flash the knockup from the Rakan. But Chris goes in at the same time. So if that was the case, Top Esports would have looked potentially for a kill. But I think this was so miscoordinated between Kanavi and Chris. And then Kanavi loses his flash, which Knight actually abuses to perfection by roaming through that.
And this just seemingly happens to Top Esports occasionally, as Elk just gets a beautiful Featherstorm Blade Collar combo, and Chris will be crowned up yet again. Knight comes there and gets this kill On, now going down as well, though. Creme has shown up at the Blade Collar, locks him in place, and Elk will get another kill. As Knight looking for the CC, he wants JackeyLove, and Tibbers is down again. JackeyLove in a lot of trouble under turret here, though Knight will have to back off. JackeyLove will not fall. It's still a BLG world in this game number 1 with a 3-0-2 start for Elk.
Hey, wake me up when 2024 is over, okay? Because right here, BLG are back. 3-0-2 for Elk. Over in that bot lane, he's going to have his first item very, very soon. Beichuan securing the top lane grubs as well. A play traded down the bot lane for 369, but Top Esports is just looking so miscoordinated, honestly. We expect a lot of aggression to come through for Chris and
maybe they get him.
And Kanavi.
Okay,
I don't think you dive that. I don't think you can dive that.
That's bold. 369 already used the equalizer there. Yeah, okay.
What?
Top Esports have lost their minds.
What's going on? What is going on? Please.
Top Esports have absolutely lost their minds here. This is a little bit toughy for sure. I mean, it's already a 2,000+ gold lead at 10 minutes into the game.
What is going on? Okay. Chris, wait.
Oh? The
Okay,
headbutt
very
polarize. Okay, he doesn't have the turret anymore. Unfortunately, though, he does have Kanavi a little bit behind the play, but it's not going to be fast enough there.
Wow, okay. Top Esports need to bring themselves together, like now, yesterday, or BLG are going to run away with this series. 2,500 gold lead at 10 minutes is a pretty huge amount. Sundered Sky already completed. Essence River already completed for Elk as well. And right now, these are the two moving pieces as well for BLG. Like their AD carry is going to be used as artillery, and their jungler is going to be around every single neutral objective anyway. So having them two with already first completed item, which is a pretty good spike as well. Like Essence River is a huge spike for Xayah too. And then you've got Gwen sort of scaling into that late game to be a menace in sideline, but also in team fights. I think if Top Esports don't find a response soon, that game is going to completely run out of hands.
Yeah, I mean, the mid-game spike is going to be huge here for BLG as well, but they also just have a comp that works really well in the driver's seat. Now they have 3 grubs as well. They're going to take the first dragon. Full neutral objective control so far, and looking to control 369's fate here in the side lane. They're going to bring Beichuan. They're going to bring everybody. A spear to help on the back end, but Bin will claim the kill anyways after the flash. Bin follows through, and now the turret should go down quickly.
Oh no, I think Top Esports are dizzy. BLG have been moving so fast on the map and they've been taking so much advantage. Like, you saw it from the early laning phase, right? Like, JackeyLove and Chris felt like they were on a timer. They were making mistakes, they were missing creeps. As you mentioned as well, just trying to shove that wave as much as possible. They tried for early ganks, they didn't work, and now they're overforcing the issue time after time after time, and BLG is simply punishing. First tower falling 11 minutes in the hands of Bin as well, onto that Gwen, and all across the board, huge gold leads for every single member of BLG. Top Esports, this is a very scary game for them, and a very scary form to see them if you're a fan of Top Esports.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different combinations of effects, maybe. Obviously, the last series for them, they are locked into top 4. They have that buy going for them. But this is also tried and true what we've seen from Top Esports. Sometimes in games, they just lose their minds. And you're like, what happened to this dominant team that looks so good all the time? And then they show you in the next 2 games, or whatever combination of whichever game they lost in the best of 3. But this one's definitely looking tough.
I'll give it to you if you're a fan. You know how Top Esports really like taking full advantage of all their official games. That's why most of them have gone to 3, right? They're getting the 0-1 out the way, so then game's on. Kind of. I don't know. I'm just trying to give.
I like it.
I'm just trying to give some, copium to the fans of Top Esports.
I'm just thinking, like, wouldn't it be so LPL to just have JDG thrash BLG and then BLG beats Top Esports as Creme loses over half his health to a little girl with a bear. Terrifying. That's not BLG. Look at them. Like, they are just in Top Esports' jungle doing what typically Top Esports does to every other team in the LPL.
Oh, Creme. He didn't get his back
There's
through.
nothing
the
here,
flash.
bro.
Oh,
He's got a couple more needleworks for Bin. They're going to try to find it. Oh, he gets stunned as he tries to go. Oh, my God. It's a catastrophe of errors. And now Elk, looking for the outplay, is going to try to find JackeyLove. Can't get him in the end. Both are going to have burned their flashes and their combat summoner spells.
Okay, this is a classic case of AD carries got bored because they're not included in any play at this point. Both ended up flashing. However, BLG, they get so many summoners, they kill Creme, they take the top lane tower, and Top Esports are left licking their wounds at 5,000 gold and only 14 minutes into the game. We're talking about a stomp.
Yeah, can we just go next, or like what? No, I'm beaming aside. It's still a very dominant lead from BLG. It's been handled cleanly, and it all stems from the team play. I mean, we saw that early gank down towards bot side, or at least the counter gank there, followed through by the whole team. The timing has been so good today. For BLG, unlike for Top Esports, who are trying to defend the mid lane tower right here, Voidgrubs are going to be doing some work as Knight holding the stun, again, is just become so dangerous, right? JackeyLove spurred his flash for the 1v1 versus Elk. You cannot overstep too far forward. There's way too many BLG members around. You get stunned by Tibers, you're most likely going to die. There's an item and a half. They're diving anyway. They are diving. A little bold, but they do get the turret, so you know that's all that really matters in the end. Rift Herald is up on the table. Could still be... Oh, On just popped his quickness. Crisp just goes in. Equalizer has been used. Top Esports, they are stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. And speaking of, that rock's being thrown right at their face. Both going down. 369 and Crisp. The top and bottom is already out from underneath Top Esports. And now back onto the Rift Herald. BLG goes for continued neutral objective dominance.
You were talking about the whole go next idea. However, I feel like Top Esports coaching staff are already on the whiteboard and preparing tactics for game number 2 on blue side, because this is, I'm just going to be completely honest, this is just hard to see from Top Esports. Again, very uncoordinated. Chris goes in. Once Kanavi is backing off and JackeyLove doesn't have flash, she can't really overcommit into a choke point, into a Zaya and a Pantheon and a Gwen flanking as well on the other side when you have no flash onto this misfortune.
Isn't it funny how isn't it funny how we put so much praise on Crisp and Kanavi, and we've seen like 3 plays already in just this first game of this best of 3, but they're just completely out of sync. Can't have that against BLG. who, again, you have to remember, this is a very important series for them. If they win here, they don't have to go into their next series against IG with any worry. They will lock top 4 with a win of this series.
BLG have got their destiny in their own hands, right? Win the series, you're through. Top 4, locked. And they're playing in an absolutely great form to achieve that. Do they have to beat the best team in the LPL right now? Yes. Does Top Esports look like the best team in the LPL right now? Absolutely not in that game number 1. BLG are pretty much like rolling them over, right? Macro-wise, movements on the map, anti-dives as they're looking for 369 flash.
Oh, come on, Ben! What? You missed every single needlework. That's actually wild. Just, you know, predicting that 369 would step up. He did get his flash, though, so I guess all's fair in love and war. These two guys knowing each other very well over the years, but BLG looks to put the screws on the Top Esports so far. Creme will do his due diligence. Get a side lane turret for them. Bullet time's going to be used in mid lane, but Rift Herald, he's going to be looking to charge onto this tier 2 here for BLG.
As Creme resets right here, a few more hits onto this tower, and it's going to go down. The Demolish
Oh,
proc.
and then they just
Kanavi.
take the fight onto Kanavi. Kanavi's way overextended. He gets CC'd, but popped the pressing guard, so he should just be fine. BLG getting a tier 2 and backing away.
I think it's a pretty much clinical procedure right here for BLG, right? Already 6,000
What
gold
procedure
in the lead.
is that?
Creme?
Oh, Crisp trying to throw a wrench into the surgery plans. As the equalizer going to be thrown down by 369. He wanted to go over the wall, but doesn't have flash there. Trying to catch out on, trying to catch out somebody, trying to pick up a little bit of this gold anywhere they can find it for Top Esports. Oh my God, Crisp is just going to die. Look at it. Elk's going bold here. My dude, Blade Caller right back. Beichuan took away the red buff.
Okay, we need to okay. We need to calm down. Because I'm gonna be quite frank, if I take the nameplates off, that looks like my solo queue game. No joke.
Well, we're about to continue that here as another needlework comes through. 369 bites the dust again, 0 and 4. And that feels real bad as BLG looking for another tier 2 turret, this time in top side.
Damn, okay, BLG as dominating as ever. I just want to point out, like, that TP that we saw from Knight earlier, the fact that they're consistently just pushing every single side lane, every single time 369 tries to push, there's a response right there. They pull a TP, they take a flash. Every single time Creme is on the side lane, he takes a tower down, they'll take 2. Both of them in the mid lane. So there is a constant response from BLG. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like, wake me up when 2024 ends, because that is 2024 BLG. That is how dominant they were and how they did it. They took that lane transition, those extra items, into the skirmishes, into choking you out of your jungle, into choking you out of the game. That is textbook 2024 BLG.
And it's textbook how to make sure you put your team, who's refreshed with Beichuan, in the best position to win. Because I feel like that's something that was not played to in that JDG series. And we saw the fruits of that labor. I mean, jungle was gapped. Beichuan had no hope in that series as a whole. And being able to play around these proactive moments, being able to play around this early game and make sure that they can all play synergistically together has been a great boon for BLG, especially to start this series off. The job is not done yet, and On he immediately having to regret his decision making. But luckily they are so far in the lead that it doesn't even matter. Crisp is down a level onto On and down multiple onto everybody else. On getting pushed right back. On going down. Creme's going to get the kill there. Bullet time right across to split the difference on a BLG. Knight looking for an angle there with the Tibbers at the toe. Elk does have Featherstorm still available. Atacon gets brushed and started up there, but BLG will make it out alive.
Yeah, that's a support taken down for the side of Top Esports. It's a start, I guess. Trying to pin down the Rakan is not very easy. And the flash
Yeah, Knight
from
tried
Knight,
to get
he misses that.
tried to get the flash Tibbers play, or at least wait for it, but wasn't able to do it. Does end up burning that. This big tool down for 5 minutes. I mean, that's a main engage tool for them, alongside their others.
It's gonna be fine for the time being. There is a dragon up, and BLG already have 2 for themselves. Knight is waiting on the wave. There is no
terrifying
ultimate
is
onto
it?
Creme.
Oh, he missed. Okay. Grand Starfall gonna be used. But they are already in prime position to get this Soul Point Dragon of a Hextech Soul.
Yeah, BLG taking control of that river by the time Top Esports are anywhere near. T-Burst is back up. Stun is being held by Knight. So difficult to walk through any choke points. And Top Esports are going to try to anyway. Not this time around. They're falling way too far behind. You know how I feel about Top Esports and having 0 setup in those neutral objectives. They'll take it anyway, right? They'll take the fight. However, right here, you have 5,000 gold. Not enough this time around. And it's just hard to just straight up walk in.
They have 2 items now, but yeah, I don't think it makes any difference, honestly. Creme is never going to reach the scaling point that he wants to, for sure. And the other side of things, BLG will absolutely have the kind of engaged tools they want to be able to keep pushing this pressure. Over 6,000 gold now, and as they redeploy on the bot side, you have to expect the Atacon is the next focus.
All right, we're talking about a 6,000 gold difference right here, but if you look at the items, you've got 2 items in Scorching, 2 items in Azir, very important items as well, so you're not that far off in terms of overall power. Now, BLG are going to send Knight over the top side of the map, and these sort of Atacans are mostly to bait fights or ultimates coming through from BLG. BLG are absolutely not going to take the bait. They know if the Top Esports stick around the Atacan long enough, they're going to take too much damage, and then BLG will be able to turn it around.
I do like Creme's speed of taking it, and it does feel like it can be a possibility if they're left to their own devices for too long. Beichuan has joined. Knight has TP, can come in at any time. On looking for an angle, but the Atacon's getting low. Can Beichuan get in the pit? Can he steal it away from Kanavi? Kanavi's going to take it. Atacon secured by BLG, and now the fight afterwards is looking good for them as well. Double knockup from On, and now they are able to take this fight into Creme, into JackeyLove, and continue their absolute dominion over game number 1. A double kill comes through for multiple members of BLG, and this game number 1 is cooked.
Absolute domination from BLG, from laning phase to transition to wards to vision to neutral objectives. The only neutral objective they took away was to make sure that the game goes along with it, right? Top Esports fall for the trap. They tried to play for a neutral objective, and BLG slapped the wrist right after. They're gonna take that bot lane tier 2 tower that remains as well. Only one outer tower in 23 minutes remains for Top Esports, which is the top lane 1. And you have to expect that Baron will be in BLG's sights right after this.
That's such a crazy factor to state right here. When we thought this series was just going to be an absolute backbreaker, so contested, with Top Esports having such good promise with this huge win streak that they're on. You got to remember, they're trying to go on a 6-win streak to finish off the regular season, and BLG having their own win streak faltering against JDG, but here against Top Esports performing against all odds. And Chris, you chose the wrong target. I'm sorry, but
I was about to say, I think that was a little bit troll right there from Chris, because it's like Kanavi was like, you got me, you got me, you got me. He's like, I got you, I don't have you, but good job on the smite, buddy.
Throw up the meme.
Like, it's hilarious, right? We're like, hey, Kanavi and Chris, what a fantastic jungle support duo. Like, I mean,
right?
Absolutely dominated by themselves in this game. Like,
yeah, it's been tragic.
It's been tough to watch.
I mean, that's like 5 or maybe 6 games right now. Trouble, you're gonna have to take over for a second. There's a giant spider walking across my wall, and I'm gonna smash it. So I'm gonna mute real quick. There you go.
Don't smash it, man. Take it in the cup. Put it outside. All right, he's already gone. R.I.P. to the spider. Well, all right, guys. Kanavi is looking for Bin here in the side lane. Really difficult to actually pin down. You've got the upgraded boots as well from feats of strength. Medjai's purchased for Knight as well on that Annie. 10 stacks already stacked up from that ring. And BLG are looking to regain a lot of control into Kanavi's top side jungle. As
I moved it. I didn't kill it. I moved it to the other side of my room. So it's living in the corner now. But yes.
Evicted.
Evicted. It's an interesting state of the map right now, because it feels like Top Esports have some hope in their team composition. Do we, though, Trouble? No, we don't have any hope.
Oh, well, I'm back. I
you're back.
For a second there.
It's hilarious.
Sorry. That was
I asked you I asked you if you had any hope, and there was no answer. So, you know, I'll take that as the answer I needed.
That was the perfect timing. That was the perfect timing then for me to not get any sound. Is there maybe for games 2 and 3? How about that?
Yeah, I guess so. Just drop it. My window has a screen on it, Kai. I can't do that. It's living in my corner now. That's where it lives. It's the LPL spider.
All right. We'll name it Kanavi.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess he's just sitting on the wall watching.
Harmless.
His team.
It's harmless, yeah.
It's harmless. As speaking of harmless, I don't think BLG are anywhere near that wording, as they are looking so dominant. And look at Knight, he wanted the kill of the Creme. Creme goes gold and buys a lot of time, though. Elk has to pop his Featherstorm now as well, but they already find JackeyLove. Chris has no health left. 369 already half health, and Chris going to be ran down to the dirt by Bin. As multiple flashes come out, BLG will turn right back onto the Baron.
Yeah, they'll get the Baron right here. Kanavi is alive. He'll try to make his way around, but I really doubt they're going to let him get anywhere near. He's not on vision right now. He could make
no way
happen. He's been spotted right now. Can he W into the pit? He's not going to choose to do that. He's coming back. There's no way. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy.
Okay, no. Kanavi, my king. Your crown has fallen on the ground, and it has some dirt on it, my friend. You're going to have to pick it up for game number 2, that's for sure, as still 100% neutral objective control. Every dragon, every objective, and everything going BLG's way.
The only thing that didn't was under BLG's control as well. They let the Atakan go through. They use the damage from Atakan to re-engage onto Top Esports. As right here, you see even Elf like oversteps massively right here, but Top Esports are so far behind. They can't even punish that. And BLG is going to take this fight. They're going to take the Baron. Most likely they're going to take the game very shortly after. And yeah, I feel like naming that Spider Kanavi is pretty spot on for this game.
You know, there's a little bit of unrest in my brain, just because I'm a big arachnophobe because of my mother. But you know, I'm gonna rest well that I know Kanavi is in the room with me.
He's harmless, man. Look at him.
It's crazy though to think of being a little bit real. This is Kanavi's like premier pick this split. It's the most played for him as well. It's been very dominant in a lot of the wins. This was a composition that they very much like, but it came down to very vast execution difference in that earlier part of the game that has led to this BLG complete and total victory, it feels like.
I just feel like let's not forget who BLG is for a second, right? There was a reason they were dominating 2024, one of the best, some of the best laners in the world, right? We're talking about like world's #1 contenders in 2024. They're still the same people. They're still so freaking mechanically gifted that if you make mistakes, they'll chop your head off. And that's exactly what they've done right here to Top Esports. Faker
himself had to get out of his chair and smite BLG from that finals to make sure that the LPL could not find success. When you have to do that, you know this team is the real deal. Memes aside, BLG looking to make up for what has been a very disappointing 2025. Split 1 did not go their way. To come back and to make it into the bye in Split 2 would be at least a little bit of effort to getting back to glory for this team that knows that glory, that found that double championship last year, their first ever as an organization, and to go back to back. It's a much different team now with Beichuan, but can they do it against Top Esports? This game #1, they absolutely can. But winning 2 games against this devastating team is the biggest difference. Top Esports putting on a hell of a defense right now, but it's not going to last for long. Chris falls, that's losing your frontline bodies, and BLG just counting the seconds until they can go backstage.
Yeah, double super minions running in just a little bit. Oh, on.
Equalizer. Oh my god, Beichuan comes in, goes straight for Kanavi, goes straight for the King's Head, and BLG will go to match point against Top Esports and make good on that first meeting and put Top Esports through their paces in game #1.
I'm trying to hold myself
Oh yeah.
from saying things about top esports. I think like I feel like they had somewhere to be. Like the way they were performing through laning phase. I'm looking at Crisp. I'm looking at JackeyLove. They were pushing like madmen. They were pushing like their life depended on them. Like missing CS, not taking controlled trades. Like we saw Suman's Way go up against Gala and Mako, and they absolutely dismantled them, playing that exact same matchup. And just it felt like Crisp and JackeyLove just could not get this done. And I feel like, again, there was so much pressure on playing on a timer and constantly shoving and constantly making mistakes. And, like, again, BLG, when they're on a tear, you make mistakes, they'll take the entire game off of one laning mistake.
And that's why that 2-0 against JDG was so shocking, because this team had been firing on all cylinders and just dropped the ball. And now we're seeing that kind of pickup of the ball from them. And I love to see some of the team play we've already gotten from this squad. Getting to see them play together in that early game feels so good and so powerful. And honestly, it's a little microcosm of why Beichuan was such a big influence into the change of the roster, because he knows how to play and facilitate through these big stars.
Now, I'm going to take the positives and I'm going to turn them around.
Okay.
This was a fluke of a game.
Your smile
this was
into
a fluke
a frown.
of a game for top esports, right? I feel like when it comes to top esports, they have had so much thrown at them for their international performances. Domestically, kings. They managed to pull out the victories. They show up when it matters. They win titles. They're contenders for like first, second, all the time. Great, fantastic. But when it comes to those internationals, they have always been very heavily criticized, and rightly so when you come as the first seed from the LPL, one of the best regions in the world. I feel like these performances should not be allowed from top esports, specifically when you're walking into a series versus BLG. So back to the drawing board. I feel like laning phase was a really, really, really big sore point for top esports, and this is where they really need to work on if you want to go up against some of the most dominant laners that the entirety of the LPL has.
And I'm not going to lie, it didn't actually feel like the draft was that bad. I guess my biggest qualm was misfortune. That was not the difference maker. It was absolute decision making. It was the flubs from Kanavi and Crisp that really made the difference. And so I'm wondering what kind of iteration we get from top esports on the other side of things, because this was fully BLG favored, and they've got to find a way to play through this jungle that has been so dominant, Kanavi, and get these solo lanes off the ground.
I mean, he's got so many champions he can play through, right? And I feel like right here, you're going onto blue side. I commend BLG for putting Beichuan first. This never used to happen with like Wei and Shun. Like maybe Shun would get B1 Vi, right? But that was it. But that was about the extent that it would go. But right here, they prioritized Beichuan. Beichuan played for them. They played through their win conditions. And again, these are the things that they punished in the early game. Miscommunication from top esports, something doesn't work. BLG will not just take one, will take 2 kills off of it. They'll punish you. They were constantly scouting in the jungle. The early game scouting, we didn't talk about it enough as well. They were constantly spotting Kanavi's movement throughout the entirety of the game, which is one of the most important things. We glazed the guy because he's just that good and he can change the game around. Know when you spot it throughout the entire game.
Yeah, it's so crazy how quickly things got out of hand, how offset top esports were. It never felt like top esports were in a fight that they wanted to be in or that they felt comfortable in. And a lot of times it was a fight that starts, they had to join members, they had to be a part and kind of get that re-synergy together. But this is a composition that loves team fights, that loves those big setup plays around objectives, and they were never able to do so. And I think that's just really good looks from BLG, knowing their strategy, knowing what top esports want to do, and not letting them do it.
I will say structurally, I do enjoy BLG's draft in general more, because I feel like for Misfortune to interact with an environment where there's so many threats around her, like standing still to bullet time is a luxury that you're never going to get in one of those fights. And even if you do get to do that, there's so many like spells that pretty much negate bullet time and no one cares about on the set of BLG. So that's why like I frowned a little when I saw the Misfortune over the Jhin right here. Obviously it wasn't a Misfortune thing that ended up losing the game for top esports, but in terms of execution, like BLG, even if that was even, they would have a much easier time to execute the composition in the skirmish and the fights that we're seeing.
Yeah, they absolutely would. But unfortunately, that was not the case here. Full objective control as well. Like the early grubs, the dragon, just getting the soul. Like it just all fell into place for BLG. And This makes you think, like, how confident are these guys if you're going to have now counter pick for potentially Knight or Bin. I know we've been seeing a little bit more supportal counter pick here as well with that first game, but you got to think with how much strength we see from the solo lanes already in this series as well, that they're going to be opting into that for game number 2.
Yeah, and actually something very interesting that I picked up from the first series, like both of the teams, when they played on red side, IG and FPX, they actually had 5 AD carries, which I find really clever, depending, of course, like what the early pick is. Like if there's like a Renata or something like a Nico, you can actually choose and pick like what kind of trading pattern you want with Enchanter. So they like leave AD carries for R5, which I wouldn't be surprised seeing how dominant like Elkin on R if they manage to pick something like a Nico, for example, through that laning phase. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting because now BLG will have the quote-unquote upper hand in at least taking control of one lane of their choosing.
Yeah, and doing that, I think it's going to be really important for them to play around, but then finding a way to play around that as well is going to be extremely important. But BLG, I mean, they need one win, right? Could you imagine all that effort that IG went through in that first series to be all for nothing if BLG topples the Titans of top esports and Knight on his Annie will get MVP for game number 1?
Yeah, very early picked. It worked tremendously well. I feel like his roams were impeccable. He constantly kept shoving lane, using T-burst on cooldown, tried to get pressure through. Like, that was some OG Knight performance that we saw today.
It absolutely was. And BLG, they're starting off strong. They swing first, and they absolutely knock out top esports. We'll see if they can recoup and regroup for game number 2. This series is bound to go the distance. I feel it in my bones, as we're going to be going to a little break. We'll see you for game 2.